Hey, good morning. Let's talk. Let's talk to sports, as well as our other streaming channels. And this week we're doing our pro football preview show, week two, season 2021 of the
See it.
National Football League. And as me and Dwayne
You can see
love
it.
to say, in reverence to the big fella, we ain't gonna say his name, but anybody that knows anything about sports in the Northeast knows who the big fella is. As we talk about the league where they play for pay. And because of copyright issues, we can't
Yeah,
play that beautiful music.
can't play that music. Shout out to
That league,
NFL.
the league that we love to talk about. They strict with their music. They're strict with their image. So this is why we have to tag the show Pro Football because we can't even use their name actually in the tag. Hopefully one day me and Dwayne can be an affiliate of
Well,
the
listen,
league where they play for pay. What's up,
pe-
Wayne?
people gotta know something about this NFL. You know, what does our brother Fat Joe say? It's the big show. No, the NFL is the big show, and you can't even say SB. You gotta
Mm,
say the big game.
yeah,
That's how serious the NFL is with this
yeah.
stuff. But hey, man, week two, man, it's a beautiful Sunday. Been out. I took a walk.
I gotta throw a wrench. I gotta throw a wrench. I know that you always say that we gotta have time restraints, but I told myself I'm gonna start asking you two questions just out of the blue. Don't talk about it before we start the show. So I want to ask you one question now, if you don't mind,
We got
and
time.
another question later. Um,
Yep.
Dwayne, I want to ask you, and we, we anybody that knows know that we conversate all the time. But sometimes you'll be like, "Q, get off the ledge." We ain't gonna be emotionally invested with the team that we root for. And I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about the league in general. And I know that every year we be like, it's different than last year, different than past years. But I'm gonna ask you, does it seem after week one, it's just the injuries?
Yeah, it's a lot of injuries. I got my own feeling on this, and I'm not a medical professional. I'm not. But to me, and this is on the players' union, they don't prepare enough physically. OTAs, they're not hitting. Preseason, you got quarterbacks, a lot of quarterbacks in this league that did not play one preseason game. So you're not getting yourself prepared to get hit. Like when the bullets is real. In practice, okay, but when the bullets is real, and people could say, oh, it's just preseason. But even though it's preseason, for a quarterback to have people around his legs and touching him when he about to throw, for a running back to get up in that hole and get a fit and get hit, DBs, listen, you go all out week one, full speed. So what do you see the majority of week one injuries? Soft tissue injuries.
Soft tissue injuries.
Because they're not, listen, all right, call me a dinosaur. 2 days wasn't a bad thing, man.
Yeah.
2 days got you ready. They don't even do, listen, from high school up to the pro, I went to a high school game this past week, and I was talking to a guy, and he was like, I know him for a lot of years. He's a youth football coach in South Brunswick. So he's like, Coach Morris, man, does it seem like tackling is a problem on every level of football? And I said, Coach Martin, you're 100% right. You know why? Because all they do is thud in practice. How am I have a high school, youth football, college, and some pro players not tackle all week, but then come game day, I want them to tackle Derrick Henry and stay healthy
Yeah.
while doing it. So I think it's a cause of them not doing enough to prepare for week one. Look at the injuries, man. Major injuries.
Major injuries. Got. I
Major
mean,
injuries.
I mean, I was. It was funny because we one of the teams that we always think is a good talented team that we talk about is the 49ers, and how last year all the injuries hurt. And I remember me and you was talking about Mozart.
Mhm.
You're like, all right, he'll be out 5 weeks. And then I see the next report like, yo, he had surgery, he out for the season. And it's like, yo, not just with him, so many guys are getting hurt. I seen that Taylor Lewan because he had a bad game last week against Chandler Jones. Most people don't know that this guy is 6 months removed from an ACL. I mean,
Yeah,
less than 6 months. And it's
that's
like, okay, you rushed and come back, and you're not 100%, but the
they're not.
injuries is just piling up. And
And
it's
it's
like,
crazy because when you think about the team that we do root for, DC for life. We get this terrible injury with DeMarcus Lawrence, right? Happens in practice. He breaks his foot. It's the same foot, same bone that he broke when he was a rookie. So that's important. This could be a lingering thing. Come on, man. Like, same bone, same foot. But I say that to say, first thing everybody said was, oh, Olivia Vernon is a free agent. Cowboys need to go get him. He had an Achilles in January.
yeah.
So, you look at a player that I love, man, and he never really got to wear the star on his helmet because he got hurt in preseason. Gerald McCoy fights all the way back, gets in the game for the Las Vegas Raiders, tears his knee. You got to start thinking about retirement for him. 2 back-to-back season-ending injuries, and he ain't make it to week 2 in any of those seasons. So these injuries are real. There's a lot of people on the injury report for this week. Some questionable, some doubtful. Man, so when people was talking about Dak Prescott, is Dak Prescott going to be 100% the whole season? Who the heck is? Because from what just went down week 1, no one's 100%.
It literally, and we never want to compare sport to troops and all the troops across the world. It's unfortunate that we have wars, but this is a fact of life. You always hear people say it's a war of attrition, and literally, more so than ever, 17-game season, and like you said, the players union have cut back on what you can do in practice, in conjunction with the league, and it gets to a point where the players need to really ask themselves. And I know you always remind me, like, it's not yesterday's football. It gets to the point where the players need to ask themselves, is it about the money or is it about winning? Because clearly you see that they make a lot of business decisions, and as fans and people that love to talk about sports, it bothers us.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, we need to come around and understand that this is like a job for these guys. It's not really about the game. It's about the game and then making money and putting yourself and your family in the best position to be financially set. So my next question we'll get towards the end of the show. I just got to remind myself to ask it to you.
No, that's fine,
Um,
man. We can get right into this. There's no time restraints today.
you want me to ask you the next question before we get into it?
Home, comfortable. I had a good night out on the town last night. Great company.
I know
Great
that salmon
food.
looked absolutely delicious.
It was magnificent. Okay.
So you want me to ask you the next question?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. We Dwayne, as fans of a certain team, we have players that we root for that may not be on the team that we like, but are on the actually our rivals. One player in particular, he had got traded a couple years ago, and now he's on another team. Other team didn't use him last year. He got hurt, and they had a successful season. And we're talking about Odell Beckham Jr. And Dwayne, I am, and you are, well, you probably more than me. We're football purists where we could watch football no matter who is playing. The Rock could be playing the grass and we'll watch it as long as it's football.
You ain't telling no lie, because right now in the background the sound is down, but I'm watching Cass Tech High School out of Michigan against Martin Luther King out of Michigan. Both Detroit schools battling. It's a big crowd. So yeah, I use a quote. I kind of tweaked it, but it's a good line in a movie. One of my favorite movies is Remember the Titan. And you remember when Lasky came running into the gym. Hey y'all, how y'all doing? I'm just coming from New Jersey. They say football, I come running. That's me.
Yeah.
They say football, I come running, man. But yeah, man. So Odell
it's concerning,
Beckham, right?
It's concerning.
Here's my issue with OBJ. Unquestionably an amazing talent. An amazing talent. Generational talent. Really, the way he plays on the field. You got one organization in the New York Giants that gave up on him. And what they got in the trade, the way they handling Jabril Peppers this year in his walk year, he's probably going to be gone. So then they'll have no one left on the Giants for that Odell Beckham trade, right? So Giants got rid of him. He's 100% healthy, and the Browns don't play him.
For those that don't know, Odell Beckham was a game. Just listen to this, folks. Game 1, he was a game time scratch. He warmed up and warm-ups, didn't feel right. They scratched him. Now, usually that gives you the telltale sign that he may be playing game 2. Game 2, they ruled him out on Wednesday, midweek, not Friday, not Saturday, not before the game. Wednesday, the first, which is typically the first day back at practice. So, as football fans, I said it to Dwayne during the week, and it's concerning because we see how he toned down a lot of his social media. Even though Odell Beckham, if you follow him on Instagram, he has a major following. Like Dwayne said, when it's come to generational talent, one thing about the receiver position that a lot of people don't know is that if you look at a person's twitch in their hip area, that's when you could tell whether a guy's a really good receiver. Me personally, at looking at receivers probably the last 7-8 years really extensively, I have never seen a player who has so much flexibility in their hips, as far as being able to change direction and move, start and stop, better than Odell Beckham. I criticized him a lot, but like Dwayne said, when it comes to pure talent, speed, slants, comeback routes, everything when it comes to that route tree speaks to Odell Beckham's strength. He has some strength in every aspect of a route. He's physical enough to handle the jam. So this is why I wanted to bring the question to Dwayne, because it's very concerning what we're seeing with Odell Beckham Jr. and what's going to happen next going forward. What's your thoughts on going forward?
I don't think he'll be a Brown. And it's sad to say, man, because he's phenomenal. We said everything about him that could be said. Amazing. But teams are better when he's not on the team. Isn't that just odd that teams are better? Do the Browns offense need him? Now listen, he's phenomenal. But do they need him? Do they need the headache? Because he's a headache. Because he's going to come out there and it's going to be like, I'm back, I'm healthy, I need more balls, right? But you got Kareem Hunt. You got Chubb. You got Juice Landry.
Who, by the way, a lot of people don't know, Juice Landry and Odell Beckham have been best friends since freshmen in college. Yeah. They're very close. So this was like the perfect team for him to go to.
You got Donovan People-Jones. You got Hooker. You got Njoku. Like, man.
And even so much so that Cleveland Radio said that the interesting things that Cleveland Radio said this week is that he does provide an element to their team, and that's the home run threat.
Right.
And if you've watched Stefanski, and one thing we always give credit to these teams and organizations, even though we may not root for them, Stefanski, a lot of people may not understand. This guy is doing a hell of a coaching job in Cleveland the last 2 years.
Shout out to my brother Craig Walker. The Browns have Bill Callahan coaching their offensive line. So let's not forget that, because he won't let us forget that.
So that's about that, Dwayne. I definitely wanted to get those two questions in because I believe, like I always tell you, and it's not to toot your own horn, and I tell you privately as well as publicly, I don't think there's too many people that have a better pulse on all three levels of football better than yourself. I know that some people are specialists in high schools, some people are specialists in college, some people are specialists in pros, but you very rarely meet people who are strong in all three, let alone two. So I know that you follow a lot of these guys, definitely the guys that come out of New Jersey. you follow them and see where they go to college, and then follow their careers and all to the pros. And as you said in your comparison with Remember the Titans, you're a Jersey guy, and we Jersey guys, and we have a
Listen,
very unique thing.
I know Texas plays great football. I know California plays great football. Ohio. Give me that New Jersey football, man. North, Central, and South. Give me Jersey, because when you turn the TV on Saturdays, Jersey rings bells. So to me, New Jersey is where the best high school football is played. So as we go into week 2, before we break down individual games, I want to ask you a question off the cuff.
Oh boy.
How important is it to be 1-1 as opposed to 0-2?
Well, according to a lot of the statistics, it's funny you brought that up. A lot of people said, 0-2 teams. I think 20 out of the last 22 teams that started 0-2 didn't make the playoffs. I think it is important for teams to get that taste of winning in their mouth early, because I do think the NFL is about, as they say, it's a game of inches. It's also a game of confidence. A lot of these teams have a lot of new players, and you want to definitely change the winning culture. I know that one of the teams in our division started 0-2, 8 of the 9 last years, and I think that from that organization who's been historically good, I think the last time they won the Super Bowl, they basically don't have a winning culture anymore. So I think that getting that first win after losing week 1 is very important. But I don't want to put too much stock into it, because I think that every team that may be 0-2 today, different circumstances for different teams. Some teams may not play a home game until game 3. Some teams have played the first 2 games against 2 playoff teams, and on the road. Like the team we root for is playing two road games against 2 potential playoff teams on the road. So I'm not saying that it's not a big deal. I think that every team circumstances is different, but it's definitely, you got to get that win under your belt. You got to get that confidence, because then guys, as they say, will start planning for their bye week, start planning for their vacations, um, even
And
though it's
listen,
an extra game.
you hate to say a week 2 game is a must-win game, but I circled on the schedule today a handful of teams that I fear it would be bad for them to go 0-2.
If you want,
Capital.
skip around and start those games off. We can start those. We'll preview those games first if you want.
Okay, well, we'll start with the Cowboys. Okay, um, a tough road game last week against the Super Bowl champions. In the game, probably was maybe the second best game of the week that week. I won't say it was the best game, because then people will say I'm biased. But went in there, hung tough. Dak returned. Defense still needs a little bit of improvement. Now they go to SoFi against the Chargers, a team that's on the come up, new coach, second-year quarterback. Um, but I think we got to go in there and win, man. I know no Lael Collins. And hey, shout out. We do a lot of bashing of the letter networks, but I want to say shout out to Adam Scheffler. Great tweet this morning. If you really want to know what's going on with Lael Collins, check out Adam Scheffler's tweet, because he made the perfect case for Lael Collins on Twitter. So I don't think Lael is going to be suspended for 5 games. The one thing I don't like about the NFL as opposed to the Major League Baseball and the NBA, when you're in an appeal situation, you still get to play. So if he's appealing this decision, to me, he should be able to play until the appeal is heard. And if it's week 4 that the appeal is heard, then he misses his 5 games starting in week 5. But I think he should be afforded the opportunity to play while he appeals the decision, just like they do in baseball and basketball. Terrence Steele, I heard Dak Prescott say he looks a lot better than he did last year. I feel comfortable in the fact that the amount of starts that he had last year, though I may not fully agree with Mike McCarthy and Steven and Jerry Jones talking about you don't want to move Zach Martin to right tackle because then you're weakening yourself at 2 positions. I disagree. I think the right side is stronger with McGovern at guard and Martin at tackle. But he's a future Hall of Famer. He's been an All-Pro. Zach Martin may just not want to move out the tackle. We got to take that into consideration. And what, you want to upset one of your best players, maybe the best player on your squad? You're not going to do it. So Terrence Steele, step up, earn your roster spot for however many weeks Leal's down. So I think he could do it, but I think they're going to have to help him. Zeke is going to have to be. Now, let me just say this about Zeke Elliott, because I heard how bad he played last week against the number one rush defense in the league. Did you see Zeke Elliott on blitz pickups? Did you hear Devin White's name? Did you hear him wrecking stuff? Did you hear Levante David's name wrecking stuff last week? No, you did not, because Zeke Elliott was there on blitz pickup. I think the Cowboys will run the ball better, and I think they're going to come out, and I think you're looking at a Greg the Leg field goal to win it late. I'm going 27-24 Cowboys in the close.
Interesting. One of the things that you spoke about with Zeke, I'll go from what you said backwards. Zeke Elliott, in my opinion, that game tape, if you review that game tape, you show that game tape to any young running back, and this is how you teach blitz pickup, knowing where the open guy may come from. Dak Prescott only got sacked once, and it's basically because he held the ball on for too long. But when you think about that they were going against arguably one of the best defensive lines in football, and with linebackers, what he did was he put on a blocking clinic. And this is where he spoke about during the week about doing his job, is that we sometimes think that running backs is supposed to just be penciled in for 1,400 yards, 200, 300 yards, catching out the backfield, and don't realize this is what separates the good to the great, because a lot of good backs are first and second down backs, but they can't blitz pick up well. I think that the Terrence Steele thing is interesting because, and we're going to speak about with Dallas, is Dallas Cowboys have traditionally paid good players, great players money. And one of the things that me and you talk about when we always talk about the Cowboys is playoff development. And I think that Joe Philbin on that coaching staff was the best coach of last year on what he did with that makeshift line. And I know that they said Terrence Steele worked out a lot in the offseason with a strength and conditioning coach. I mean, at the end of the day, the Cowboys cannot continue to say, or any team, oh, we got to have a first-round player at this position in order to win. You got to be able, the great franchises of today got to be able to have a guy that was drafted in the low rounds be a solid starter for 10, 12 years. You got to, this is where I agree with Steven. Yeah, you build through your draft, but your draft provides depth and provides quality. And that was one of the things that we were so excited with our defense, our draft, is we drafted a lot of depth guys. Me and you were super excited with the depth when we did our 53 with the defensive line. I mean, Tank Lawrence is big. Tank Lawrence is our best defensive player right now. But at the end of the day, like, we can't continue to say we need this player in order to win. It's always this. If we lose this player, it's catastrophic. We got to grow as a franchise. The Cowboys have to grow up as a franchise. In regard to San Diego,
Los
Angeles quarterback put everybody on notice last year. What they run on defense is interesting. They run this two shell. They run what they call a two shell. For the people that don't know, Zeke Elliott should run for almost 160 yards on them. They're not going to allow you to beat them deep. You have to get them. You have to get them to overcommit because their safeties are deep back and they want you to dink and dunk and run the football. So, and they're not as strong. We're going against our old nemesis Linval Joseph at defensive tackle for LA. One thing that's going to be interesting is outside of Mexico, this is the Cowboys' third biggest strong fan base. So half of this stadium is going to be Cowboy fans. I look for a very exciting game, a game where the palms will be very sweaty for both of us. Um, I'll just say this: that both of these teams need this win for a confidence builder on who they really are. LA, because they're a young team on the rise, a lot of expectation has been put on them, and Dallas just needs to get out of that funk and that rut. Dallas traditionally has started out 1-1 the last few years, so I picked the Cowboys to win a squeaker 28-24 with Dak Prescott on the game-winning drive to CD Lamb.
Nice, nice. So we're gonna jump around a little bit. Some of those 0-1 teams that I earmarked. When on paper it may not seem like a big game. At home, the 0-1 Cleveland Browns got to get the Texans out of there quick. They got to take care of their business because if it's late in the fourth quarter and it's in a close game and they're threatening to start this Super Bowl potential season like everyone said in the offseason, they start 0-2. It could be problems. I believe in Stefanski. For me, the jury's still out on Baker Mayfield. It just is. You can't put it on Baker Mayfield to win a game for you. I think you put it on Chubb and Hunt. I think they take care of the Texans, though, and I think they go to 1-1. I think it'll be a laugher. I'm looking at like 31-10.
I don't usually give people tips, but I'll tell you, if you're a gambler, you want to take the Texans because they are double-digit underdogs. I'm gonna take Cleveland as well, but I will say we're gonna put this game on notice. Is Cleveland mess around and be playing around with the Texans and don't blow them out early, it could get interesting. And I believe that the birds will come tweaking. As much as I like Stefanski, Baker's put on notice because he hasn't got an extension from that organization yet. And this is a game where they just got to come out and just destroy the Texans. Don't have them lingering around. But I'm gonna take the Browns as well. Wayne.
Okay, and just a note because I forgot to say it. Cowboys Chargers is a CBS 425, and Texans Browns is 1 o'clock on CBS. Another game that intrigues me the most in the 1 o'clock hour, and I will have my eyes really glued into this game, is the 1-0 Los Angeles Rams traveling to Indianapolis to take on the 0-1 Colts. Again, the Colts is a team that had a lot of buzz. People think they could, win the division, well, hang in the division, and maybe get a wild card. Carson Wentz era. They're 3.5-point dogs at home. I think the Colts need a win. I think they need a win, but I don't think they're going to get the win. I like the Rams. I like them to cover as well. I'm thinking it's going to be like 27-14, the Rams. I just don't believe in the Colts because I don't believe in Carson Wentz, which kills me to say. Because as you can remember, I was the biggest Carson Wentz fan when he came out of North Dakota State. I wanted him to be a Cowboy, but he went a lot earlier. And thankfully in the fourth round, we got Rain Dakota Prescott, who's my favorite quarterback. Dak's my quarterback. But yeah, I like the Rams today over the Colts.
I like the Rams as well. I think the Colts injuries hurt them early with their offense. What I saw last week, the Rams really didn't have an offense running around. I think the Bears made it so easy for the Rams that they didn't even challenge them in that secondary. Um, One of that Cooper Cup play was it was a disgrace to have an All-Pro safety back there with Chicago. So I was really disappointed in Chicago's defense last year. Not really happy with the Rams offense. But I think the Rams are an interesting thing. I think you got to try to force the Rams to run the ball, which I'm surprised teams haven't tried to do. I don't know. Eberflus is me and your guy, but I just don't think he has enough players there on the defensive end. I think they got a good front seven, but they just don't have that outside of Leonard. They don't have that guy, that one guy. So I'm gonna pick the Rams as two. I do think the Colts need to win because they don't have no first round pick. If Carson Wentz plays 60% of the snaps, so interesting thing there.
Yeah, so we got three more games with 0-1 teams, but I'm going to save one for last. So I'm just going to jump around to two more 0-1 teams. I think it's going to be a big day for them. The Tennessee Titans traveling to the Seattle Seahawks. Again, there were some people that said Tennessee had the best offense in the NFL with Tannehill, Henry, A.J. Brown, um, with Julio Jones. I was very, very surprised that Mike Vrabel went after Julio Jones at the end of the game in this week as hard as he did. Um, Julio Jones is very quiet and unassuming. When's the last time you really heard him on an interview or anything like that? And his new coach in the new organization in his first game basically said he was a selfish ass football player. And I don't think that was the right tack by Mike Vrabel. You do comments like that when you're trying to bring somebody into your system, into your organization, into your culture, it could backfire. Um, I don't think there's any way Tennessee is going into Seattle. Sorry, Danny Taylor. You my guy. I love you, bro. I just don't see a way that Tennessee goes into the 12th man and beats the Seahawks today. The Seahawks are a 6-point favorite. I don't think it's going to be that big. I won't give a score on this one. I'm just going to say Seahawks in a close one because it's in Seattle, man. 12 man.
One thing that Tennessee has to do is run the football. Taylor Lewan, your guy from Michigan, is coming off that major injury. Um, one thing I like about Taylor is that he's a colorful lineman, and he loves to make tweets and statements. And he took accountability 2 years ago. He took accountability when he played bad and came back. And actually, ever since then, before the injury, he was all pro, arguably one of the best players in football. So again, he took accountability. I think that I and even more adamant with the Vrabel thing. I think that Vrabel misstep when he won at Julio Jones because the league is about perception, and Julio Jones is perceived as one of the nicest guys in the league, and I think that Vrabel might have really messed up. And you speak about the penalty, but you don't attack the guy's character. And when you start saying he's selfish and looking out for himself, I think you went too far. Definitely the way your defense played. You chose not to re-sign all these players on the defensive side of the ball the last couple of years, and your defense has been terrible. You run around here boasting about the greatest offense in the NFL, but you're getting away from your identity. And you see that with Corey leaving, Corey's flourishing with the Jets. And it goes back to where coaches can build culture, but they can't treat guys like any kind of way. You have to treat guys like they're professional, like they're men. And if they do not run Derrick Henry 30 times, they will get their doors blown off messing around with Seattle on the 12th man. So they got to get back to being who they are, run the football, Tannehill on some play action, limit his plays to 15 to 20 time dropbacks, and that's it. And don't play Seattle's game. Seattle's defensive line is not as good as it used to be, but if you play Seattle's game and allow their ends to pull their ears back, Carlos Dunlap and them guys will get you. So uh, I look for Seattle to beat them now
Yeah, that's a
as well.
425 in the CBS 425 game. The last game we're going to jump around to, and then we'll go in order. I think this is a huge game for the Buffalo Bills going down to Miami. The Dolphins will have a chance to go 2-0. Buffalo again, man. I picked Buffalo. I did a little show at work, and I picked the big game of the Los Angeles Rams versus the Buffalo Bills. And I had the Buffalo Bills winning their first NFL big game championship, Super Bowl. I'm gonna say it, Super Bowl championship. Um, Buffalo is a 3.5 point favorite on the road. Um, even though I got Buffalo going to the Super Bowl and winning it, I'm going with my boy Brian Flores. You guys know I've been on them since last year. I think they pull out a big divisional win at home outright. They don't need the points. They're going to win it outright. I like
Well,
Miami
I'll just say this.
21-17.
This is a classical case of three guys, two guys liking the same team, one team last year, and one guy liking one team last year. And me, you, and Craig. Me and you liked it Miami. Craig liked it Buffalo last year. As our dark horses and our little favorites. I look at this game as a big game. I think that Miami's going to beat them outright. I think that Buffalo may have eaten the cheese. And what I mean eating the cheese, folks, is you think you're better than who you really are. Buffalo really impressed us last year with this great big arm quarterback. However, in the NFL, I don't care who you are, you have to have balance. Um, and their failure to want to run the football is kicking them in the tail. They got running backs. They have a decent line. They can run the football, but they keep wanting to pass the football 50 times a game. And you cannot win the NFL like that. And in this game, you're going against arguably the best cornerback combo in the league. So be careful. But I gotta pick Miami. I think that Flores is gonna be in his bag of tricks this game.
That's a 1 o'clock Fox game, which is rare that you get AFC teams on Fox, but it's a 1 o'clock Fox game. All right, so we'll just go right back in order now for the rest of the action. You have the 1-0 Cincinnati Bengals against the 0-1 Bears. The Bears are a 1.5-point favorite. Ugly game. I'll catch the highlights. Not really interested in it. I'll become interested in the Bears when they give the reins to Justin Fields. I'm going to go with the Bengals, man, in a mild upset. Joe Burrow and the Bengals. And Joe Mixon potentially could have a big game. I just don't believe in Andy Dalton, man. I just don't. Montgomery is a player for the Bears, man. People better realize it. That boy could do it all. He could run it. He could catch it. They're the home team, but I'm gonna go with the mild upset. I'm gonna take Cincinnati on the road, plus 1.5.
I'm gonna just say one statement, and I'm gonna pick who I'm gonna pick. Be careful, Chicago, and I'm gonna pick the Bears by 1. Be careful, Chicago.
Yeah, be careful. That is true. All right. Another AFC battle. That Bears game, by the way, is on Fox. Another AFC battle on Fox at 1 o'clock. I'm sorry, on CBS at 1 o'clock. I'm sorry, I'm getting it together, folks. You got the 0-1 New England Patriots versus the 0-1 New York Jets. It's a battle of rookie quarterbacks again. You will have Mac Jones in his second start for the Patriots, and you will have Zach Wilson, second start for the Jets. The Patriots are 6-point favorites on the road. I'm going to take the Patriots, reason being Mekhi Becton's out of this game. We know what Bill Belichick does with his defense. Mac Jones played very well. Potentially could have won that game last week, but a late fumble by a running back that I love, Damian Harris. I think he's going to be a really, really solid running back in this league. With my heart, I want to pick the Jets so bad with my heart because I'm a closet Jet fan, man. But I'm going to go with the Patriot. I'm going to go with a strong running game by Damian Harris, strong defense by the Patriots, and I think they beat the Jets.
What I seen in last week's game with Zach Wilson in the second half, I'm intrigued with the potential of the kid. I just think that he's going against the wrong coach at the wrong time. I think the coach is going to allow the Jets to run the football, and then just basically play tight defense between the 20s. He's not going to let Zach Wilson beat him over the top. That's Zach Wilson's strength, actually. And I do think Damian Harris is going to have a big game. I think the coach is going to tell him, go redeem yourself. And I think that you're going to see typical Patriots football where they may have 3 running backs with over 50 yards at least. They're going to shorten the game out. Mac Jones may throw 15 passes, or he may come out there with 5 wide. You never know with the coach. he's definitely going to attack the weaknesses. He's going to take advantage of Robert Sala's inexperience as a head coaching guy. So I look at the Patriots as well winning this game.
Our next game is a 1 o'clock game on Fox. You got the 1-0 San Francisco 49ers, led by porn star Jimmy, coming into the Bird's Nest. They'll be at Lincoln Financial against the 1-0 Jalen Hurts-led Philadelphia Eagles. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this. I think the Eagles won last week because they played a terrible Atlanta Falcon team. The 49ers are a 3-point road favorite. I think they roll the Eagles today. I think this game is over by halftime. You're going to think I'm crazy when I say this, folks. San Francisco 35, the Eagles 3. Like San Francisco, big.
What's funny is, like I said, Mozart really bothers me getting hurt is watching San Fran. San Fran played probably the best football last week, first, second, and third quarter. It is like the fourth quarter. I don't know if they gave up or Detroit started playing better. So I don't know who San Fran is right now, but I do think they have just so much talent. I don't think the coaching, like I said, I think Shanahan is an okay coach. I just think he gets too much credit. But San Fran, talent-wise, has just too much talent for the Eagles. I am optimistic about what the Eagles could do this season. They surprised me though the way they handled Atlanta, but I have to pick San Fran because of the talent and the coaching is a little bit better.
Okay, our next 1 o'clock game is a CBS game. You have the 1-0 Las Vegas Raiders traveling to Heinz Field to play the 1-0 Steelers. Steelers are a 6-point favorite in this one. I like the Steelers for 2 reasons. One, short week for the Raiders. Okay, played Monday night. 2, they're traveling to the East Coast. So, because of that, I'm going with the Steelers at home in an ugly, low-scoring 17-16 type game. I like the black and yellow, black and gold over the Raiders.
He doesn't call plays. He's not a coordinator. He's actually a walk-around coach who coaches his coaches. And I'm picking the Steelers because of one man, Mike Tomlin. He doesn't have losing seasons, you guys. I mean, at the end of the day, as we always say in every area, you got to give people their flowers. His flowers is when he's won the Super Bowl, but you just in them coaching ranks, you never hear his name. Oh, he's one of the best. He's one of the best coaches that ever coached. I mean, hands down. He's never had a losing season. So I'm picking for one man and one pen only, Mike Tomlin.
Our next 1 o'clock game is a Fox game. You got the New Orleans Saints traveling to Carolina to take on the Panthers. Both teams are 1-0. New Orleans is a 3-point favorite. 5 touchdowns by Jameis Winston last week. Not a lot of passing yards, though. He threw for under 200 yards. But, man, I wish Sean Payton was my coach. I really do. Sean Payton is without a doubt my favorite coach in the NFL. I love him. And you know how much I love Matt Rule. This is a battle of 2 guys that I wanted to be the head coach of the Dallas Cowboys. Both of them. Wanted them to be the head coach of my favorite team. I'm going to rock with Sean Payton today. I think he's going to come up with a game plan. The Saints. Now, another intriguing battle, man, right? We know football is a team game. And it always will be. But, man, if you like versatile, multi-purpose running backs, this is the game for you. Alvin Kamara, Christian McCaffrey. Man, just put it on, get you some popcorn and a soda pop, and just watch those 2 brothers work. So I will have that on. I won't tell y'all how I'll be watching it, but I will be watching it. And, man, can I pass on picking a game, or do I have to pick a winner?
You could just be a 1-point win. 1-point win is a pick 'em.
I'll pick a winner. I'll rock with famous Jameis, and I think the Saints win 1. Whew. 34-31.
It's funny. Me and Dwayne both like we said, we both like these coaches. I'm picking Carolina, and I'm picking Carolina because of
Head to head. I
what
love
what
it.
Dwayne's coach Matt Rule did in the draft last year is he drafted all defensive players for this very same moment to go against these track teams that's in the air in his division. He needed guys to compete. I'm with Dwayne. The reason why I'm picking Carolina because I'm with Dwayne as well is you're probably seeing arguably two of the best running backs and receivers in the back out of the backfield. I think that the reason why I'm picking Carolina is because Christian McCaffrey is in my top 5 of MVP guys going this year. Christian McCaffrey, if he doesn't get 2,000 yards this year, all-purpose yards, uh, that means he was hurt, you guys. Christian McCaffrey, listen, you guys, he is real deal when it comes to catching and receiving. I don't think a linebacker can cover him out the backfield.
Is he? And now, sometimes you got to rein me in. Get ready to get your fishing reel. Is he a poor man's Roger Craig?
No, he's a poor man's Marshall Falk.
Okay. So you're saying he's even better than Roger Craig?
Yeah.
And Roger Craig,
Roger Craig
should be in the Hall of Fame.
Who we love should be in the Hall of Fame. But Roger was more power because he was a fullback at one time, and then they moved him to running back. And I do think that the COVID issue is going to affect the Saints coaching staff. COVID ravaged them this week, so that's why I'm picking Carolina.
I think I know a lot about football, man, right? But I heard something today that I fell asleep at the wheel. Former NFL and high school great, one of the greats to ever do it in high school out of the wonderful Commonwealth of Virginia, and very good in college. Went to North Carolina in college, and when he came to the pros, he switched positions. He was a quarterback, and then he went to wide receiver. Guess what, folks? He's the quarterback coach of the New Orleans Saints. That is one Ronald Curry. And he's going to have an extended role today because instead of 12 offensive assistants, they're only going to have 5 today. 5. So they're going to have their OC in the box, but he's going to be the one down on the field communicating with Jameis and trying to get stuff together. And you know what? I'm going to do 2 quick shout-outs if you would allow me to.
Go ahead.
Shout out to the Dallas Cowboys for opening up their facilities for the New Orleans Saints after everything that happened with Ida. And shout out to the Jacksonville Jaguar organization for making that really feel like a Saints home game in Jacksonville. Like I had to do a double take. They had the Saints colors around the field. They had the logo at midfield. And they had the Saints in the end zone. So shout out by the NFL. Shout out to the Cowboys. Shout out to the Jacksonville Jaguar organizations for stepping out and helping their brethren out in the New Orleans Saints. We continue to pray for everyone in New Orleans. We continue to pray for everyone. Ida was just left a path of destruction from down south to the East Coast through the mid. Ida was something that I just didn't expect her to be like that.
Even so much, Dwayne, that even the storms this week still affects because the water has to go somewhere.
Richmond was underwater this week. Virginia. But yeah, that's my favorite 1:00 game. So I'm gonna be locked in on that. Another 1:00 game on CBS. You have the 1-0 Broncos off the huge win on the road over the New York Giants against the Jacksonville Jaguars and young T. Law. Yes, folks. That's what I'm going to refer to him as. I did a show at work this week, and my family, co-workers in Jacksonville told me we don't call him Trevor Lawrence in Jacksonville. We call him T. Law. So I'm going to call him T. Law too. And I'm going to say this about T. Law. Better get the ice pack ready. It's going to be a long day in Jacksonville. Bradley Chubb looks like he's a game-time decision that may play. Von Miller, Trevor Lawrence threw 3 interceptions, 3 touchdowns last week. I think he has another 3 interception day. And my favorite rookie, Patrick Surtain II, pick 6 today, baby. And Patrick, I'm still crying because I wanted you with the star in your helmet. Damn Vic Fangio and John Elway. Damn you. I like the Broncos with Teddy Bridgewater today, big. They win by double digits today.
Is that a road game for Denver or home?
It's a road game. They're in Jacksonville.
I think that Denver's going to win, and the reason why I think that this is most people don't know this is a homecoming for Teddy Bridgewater. He's going back to Florida. I think the kid, I think it's amazing, and it ties into what you talked about earlier about the Browns and the Texans is that NFL GM scouts players always think that we give up on these quarterbacks, and I believe they do give up on quarterbacks early. One of the quarterbacks, Teddy Bridgewater, all he does is win. He is the typical quarterback that they use him and Tyrod Taylor as like guys that they think are middle of the road. But if you build a franchise and just allow these two kids to play, let them play.
Stop
Teddy's
making them stop. I'm sorry to overtalk you, Q, but you're in my wheelhouse, man. You're near and dear to my heart, man. I love Teddy Bridgewater and I love Tyrod Taylor. And if you want to cast me as just being a fan of all black quarterbacks, guilty. But these two brothers can ball. And I hate that I use the term brothers because I ain't SAS, okay? But these two young fellas can ball, man. And they don't get respect for being what they are, right? You get the peoples like Ryan Fitzpatrick, Fitztragic. And everybody talks about how he's a difference maker and the Washington football team going to win the division because they got Ryan Fitzpatrick. Quentin Ford, my brother from another that I've known since Jefferson School's 6th grade parking lot. Are you here to tell me that Ryan Fitzpatrick is better than Teddy Bridgewater or Tyrod Taylor?
No.
Thank you. That's it.
That's it. And you didn't take.
And we don't always agree, man. When we fight, I wish y'all could see some of the behind the scenes. Certain days I'm ready to jump off the balcony. Other days he like, little guy, relax. It's gonna be
I have to just put it this way. One of the reasons I got hung up on one time was because I value defensive tackle in the defense in the first round. But anyway, to get back to the point is, I do think the loss of Judy for those couple of weeks was going to hurt Denver. But I noticed something last week when they played the Giants. If Teddy Bridgewater, and I know Dwayne, I might be close to that edge. If Teddy Bridgewater and Noah Fant get on the same page, listen to me, you guys. Listen to me.
Yes.
It could be a dangerous combination.
Yes.
Noah Fant is one of the best tight ends.
Nobody knows about. Man. Nobody knows about him.
This kid got it all.
And I get it, right? Because you got Waller, you got Kelsey, you got Gronkowski, you got the two tight ends in New England. Noah Fant is a good tight end, folks.
Yeah. So I look for Denver to win that game, and I'm telling you guys, y'all heard it here first. The Noah Fant, Teddy Bridgewater combination with the way Denver offense runs could be very interesting going forward.
Oh, man. I sigh and I got a sad look on my face, even though it's NFL Sunday week 2. Because I truly love this man. And I'm not ashamed to say it. I love Mike Zimmer. But I fear his days as the head coach of the Minnesota Vikings is in jeopardy, in danger. They do not win on the road today. They are playing against Kyler Murray and the Cardinals at home on Fox at 4:05. Again, as I said about Fitzpatrick, I think the most overpaid quarterback in the history of the NFL, yes, I said it, call me king in a moment, is Kirk Cousins. He's not a winner, folks. You like that. No, I don't like it. He's not a winner, man. And they got a lot of money invested in him. I like Kyler Murray in the air raid today at home to take down the Vikings. Vikings could potentially win it if they get Dalvin Cook going. And they got Justin Jefferson, who I love, but folks, that Cardinals defense is coming. Chandler Jones, 5 sacks last week. You got Buda Baker on the back end. Okay? You got J.J. Watt. Yeah, he may be past his prime, but you got Simmons. You got Collins. You got good corners. Patrick Peterson gets a little bit of revenge on his old organization today. I think he gets a pick today. But I like the Cardinals, and I like the Cardinals big, Al.
This is a big game for the Minnesota Vikings. This is potentially their season on the line. And I hate to say it, 0-2 with 15 games left. Just sound crazy, but I think their coach is losing that locker room. I think that bringing Emerson Griffin back, and he was in a car accident. Hopefully he's safe. He's recovering from a car accident this week. I just think this is the wrong team to be playing on the road right now, a team that's building confidence, a team that a quarterback who basically after last week put the league on notice that he's taking the next step. I believe that their defensive coordinator, Joseph, we always talk about coaches getting wrong, players getting raw deals. I think he got a raw deal when he was the coach of Denver. And one thing I like about Joseph as a defensive coordinator is he's not afraid. If you watch Buda Baker, most people don't realize Buda Baker is a safety. Yes, but Buda Baker plays cornerback. Buda Baker plays linebacker. And in some aspect, he's a fifth defensive end.
They got 3 Swiss Army knives on that defense.
And that's what a good defensive coordinator does is he puts these players in the best situation. Like Dwayne said, one of our players that we liked heavily going in the draft was Xavier Collins. So a lot of people, this will be a Xavier Collins coming out party. As regards to Chandler Jones, he's a Hall of Famer.
Yes, he is.
And people don't know about him. His last full season, the man had 19 sacks.
He's gonna get 20. He's gonna break the record this year.
And he's potentially gonna break the record.
That's my bold
I know that they say sacks come in bunches, but if you look at Chandler Jones' skill set, he doesn't come off the field. He's excellent against the run. He may be the second player that got out of New England that organization might regret. I think they regret Tom Brady leaving, and I believe Chandler Jones is the other one. All the other players, they succeeded somewhere else, but they weren't those guys. Chandler allows the focus not to be on J.J. Watt. So I just think it's a bad matchup for Minnesota. Coach, you may be coming home because we think we may lose our defensive coordinator in a couple of years. Coach, you may be coming back home.
Yes. Now, 2 more games to go. My tablet just flashed at me. It's got 5%. So I'm going to get this done before we wrap up, but I ain't going to rush through it. I'm going to go. If I drop, folks, it's because the tablet went. And happy football Sunday, but we're going to make it. I'm intrigued, and I'm going to ask you a question. Now, CBS at 4:25. Los Angeles Chargers versus Dallas Cowboys is the national game. Do you think Fox was afraid to go head up against that with a good game? Because the Fox national game is the 0-1 Atlanta Falcons that look absolutely dreadful against the Philadelphia Eagles, going up against Tampa Bay at home.
I think they were scared to go against that game. Number one is the Cowboys going back to where they train at. Oxnard is not too far from there. Jerry Jones was influential in getting that stadium built with the ownership group, the Cronkies. People don't know the Cronkies are the richest owners in the NFL. I think anytime the Cowboys play the Rams or the Chargers in LA is big because that is the second biggest market in the country. LA football, it hasn't picked up as much nationally as most people may not understand is that if the Rams or the Chargers ever win the Super Bowl, it will be big. Look at the Dodgers. The Dodgers are now in a different stratosphere compared to how they used to be.
I know it's Tom Brady. I know it's the defending Super Bowl champions, but I don't know how you could make a team that's a 12.5-point favorite at home the national game. I won't watch a down of it because the Cowboys will be playing. So even if it was Vikings, Cardinals, I wouldn't watch. No, I'm lying. I'll watch it down. I'll flip during commercials. But That's it. I'm not even talking about this game any further. Bucks big over the Falcons.
I got the Bucks as well.
Okay. We don't do the Monday night games here unless you want to do the Monday night game.
No.
But Sunday night football. Boy, it's going to be rocking and be more tonight. Baltimore Ravens 0-1 host the Chiefs 1-0. Mahomes versus Jackson. All I said, if you force... Now listen, I don't agree with SAS, okay, who says that Lamar Jackson is not an elite quarterback. I don't know how somebody could be an MVP and not be considered elite. But as me and my counterpart, Mr. Ford, always say, you want to force Lamar to throw the ball. He has to prove that he could stand in that pocket and throw the football. I don't know. Is the Honey Badger set to go? He missed last week. I don't know if he's playing this week. Sorry, I should know. I apologize. But on the road, upset special. I'm going to take the Ravens winning at home to beat the Kansas City Chiefs, even though I love Patty Mahomes. I just want to go against the grain, and I'm hoping my counterpart takes the Chiefs so we can go ahead up on a game.
It's amazing. It's amazing. I don't know the stat offhand, but like I told Dwayne last week on the phone, I can tell you that I have seen a lot of Chiefs games the last couple of years. They're always behind by 10. I think most people think they have been winning those games. They do come back a lot. And I think that's going to bite them one day. And this is the day that I think it's going to bite them. I think that the Baltimore organization needs this win. Those players need this win. The organization, classic organization, but
best run organization in the
NFL. Their offensive line really struggled last week, and I think what's going to happen tonight is you are going to see an organization that may play Army football.
We're Navy.
They may come out with no receivers and just say, "We're coming, and we're going to run it down your throat." And I don't think that brand of football would hurt what they're trying to do with Lamar's maturation process. I just think that's what they need to get back to win this game. It's about winning today. It ain't about next week.
Let me explain something to you. And my former Union Ram football players will remember this. My buddy Craig Walker was the offensive coordinator while I was on the staff. And the kid said to him, "Coach Craig, man, why don't we ever throw the ball?" And his quote was, "We're Navy." The ball is not going in the air. We're keeping it on the ground. We're going to eat the clock. We're going to ground you out. We're going to ground the pound. Today, the Baltimore Ravens need to be Navy. They need to keep that fast Ferrari offense of the Chiefs on the sideline. They need to ground this out. They activated Devontae Freeman, who I think is a really good running back that's been bouncing around here lately. But, hey, man, I like the Ravens, and I just want to say, man, I'm really grateful for Quentin Ford and for him allowing me to come on here and spew my opinions. I'm thankful for this platform. I hope you all like, subscribe, and share. I'm going to be a little egotistical. A narcissist. How you say that word? Narcissistic?
Yeah.
Narcissist. Man, we the best pregame show in the land. I put us up against anybody, man. Against anybody. We give you a nice hour-plus capsule. Unbiased. We're Cowboy fans, but we call our team out on the mat. And we got something really special for y'all tomorrow night. It's not sports related. Just keep an eye on that. But this is Let's Talk 2 Sports. And we're just happy to be here with you. And we look forward to recapping and seeing where we was right, seeing where we were wrong in the league where they play. For pay.
With that, everybody take care. Have a blessed day. And as Dwayne says, live life, love, family, and football. With that, have a good day. And we'll see you guys tonight. Probably around 7:30 is when that 425 game is ending.
Now,
And
don't judge me. Don't judge me if I come on the air with a big coffee mug, a beer mug, crying in my beard. Or it may be a celebratory Stone Cold Steve Austin smashing beer dripping all down my beard. So stay tuned. I don't know which demo you gonna get, but you gonna get them either way.
with that, take care. And like Dwayne said, if you're on YouTube or you haven't went to YouTube to watch the broadcast, we're on YouTube. Make sure that you like, share, and subscribe. Let's talk two sports, two as in the number. With that, take care. Have a blessed day.